Hello and welcome to Las Blancas Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of Las Blancas. I'm your host Yash Thakur, and we are back with another episode after the international break. And this is when things start to get real and very, very difficult. This is something that we have been anticipating for a while. We have been looking forward to for a while. And this was the first test of many that are to come. One also involves facing Barcelona 3 times in a row. So that is going to be something to watch out for. But immediately after the international break, we were up against Real Sociedad, the team that is in third place, is chasing our second place. I would say, like, after the result, maybe not so much, but they did play some good football this season. They are positioned very highly. They have some very good midfielders. They have some very good players in their ranks, and they play some very good football. So it was going to be difficult, and especially as all games are after international break, it was going to be a tricky one since it was also away from home. So it was one of those games, but we ended up winners. We scored 3 times, twice from the penalty spot, and all three goals technically from set piece situations. So like, fun times. But we'll break the game down. We'll talk about the standout performers, what stood out to us, some little quirks in the game. And to do all of that, as always, I've got Kanita with me. Kanita, how you doing?
Well, this is like the first March in a while. I think like the first March since actually the first season, 2021 season, that we don't have like 8, 9 games in the month. But the trade-off here is that we got two Basque teams which are not to play with, and 2 out of 3 Clásicos. So the trade-off between 8, 9 games and these games. Well, yeah, it's March is always something. So yeah, we're starting off the March with a win, and on it didn't really look that easy. I mean, it wasn't an easy game, as it ended up looking on the scoreline on the paper. So, but we actually expected a more difficult game. As you said, they're chasing us in the third place, and even after this win of ours against them, they're 6 points behind us. So I mean, they're still chasing us. We still have that one Clásico, and we have Eibar next. So there's space for them to catch us, honestly. I hope not, obviously. But yeah, let's go into this game. I mean, it was very fun, very good game of football. So yeah.
And it's been an interesting run of games for us now, because in the last 4 games, we have kept 4 clean sheets. And in each of our last 3 games, the opponent has been shown a red card, which is, like, okay, I don't know what pattern is emerging here, but I'm happy with the clean sheets. But this game, I think, honestly, like, changed from that red card. Up until that, it seemed like this is going to go down the absolute wire, and it will be maybe a mistake because it was raining heavily as well in the stadium. And it looked like it would be one of those like slip ups or something that will give the other team a chance. But that red card changed everything. So before we get into how the game played out, let me quickly read out the lineups for you guys. So it was Misa in goal, Eva Navarro as the right back, as always, Lacrar and Mendez as a centre back partnership, and Sara Holmgaard starting as the left back. We had the midfield three now of Toletti, Sara Debritz, and Caroline Weir, with a front three of Linda Caicedo, Alba Redondo, and Atenea. So it was an interesting kind of setup. It was a 4-2-3-1 in essence, where Toletti and Sara Debritz are playing as the double pivot. Caroline Weir is playing as the right wing, and Linda Caicedo was operating more of a 10, or and switching with Atenea as well. So it was like Linda sometimes would operate from the left hand flank, or sometimes she would go to right, and then Caroline Weir would operate as a number 10, and Atenea would keep switching between flanks wherever, like, just to change the point of attack and those stuff. But pretty solid lineup. And I'll just quickly, like, also mention some of the players that really were having a very good season coming into this game for Real Sociedad. The first two that immediately pop up to me are Paula Fernandez and Andrea Jacinto. Like very, very solid midfielders, have absolutely ran the show in midfield for Real Sociedad. Then they also have Claudia Florentino playing for them as the center back, and she has like sort of been very solid for them as well. Like has been quite good with her ball playing. Is we know her, like she is this very robust and very aggressive sort of defender, so has kept that. And also we had Lucia playing for them, so it's some of the players that we know, some that have made a name for themselves in different team. Paula Fernandez, we all know, was very good at Levante as well. So there are a lot of these elements as well facing Real Sociedad, because they are a difficult team to come up against, and especially if playing away from home in those rainy conditions, it becomes even trickier. But Kanita, what were your initial thoughts on the lineup?
I was really happy to see this midfield, and I feel like in throughout the game, it ended up being very entertaining, especially with our whole left flank, like with Linda and Sara Holmgaard, because the two Saras, the Brits was also on the left side. It was very fun because when Linda would pull back deep, then she would get the ball up, and the two Saras would be right there at the front, ready to combine or to put the ball inside for someone, usually Redondo who was inside. So it was much more like open for the Brits in this sense, and I love to see that. It's not it's different when you put Toletti and when you put Angeldal, because obviously Toletti can be a pivot and she's obviously good at it, and the Brits is just then free. And I love to see that because seeing her with Germany, obviously she is retired from national team now, but I know with Germany she would uh help on the wing a lot of times, and and this is something that I saw in this game that I was really happy to see. The two Saras really entertained me, honestly. I was really happy to also see Holmgard doing well, and well, yeah, she got her goal. She got the goal denied, we'll get to the red card, but then she got her goal, so what's fair is fair. Karma got her finally the good one. So yeah, it was a good thing to see, and obviously pretty standard lineup. Honestly, pretty standard lineup, but especially this entertaining midfield.
Yeah, and we spoke about the red card changing the game, but up until that point in the first half, especially, I think it was very cutthroat. Like the possession was entirely shared. Like no team was was on top. In fact, I would go on to say that Real Sociedad were the more threatening side because they were doing so well with their pressing. They were blocking the passing lane because they were in this 4-1-4-1 sort of formation. So they had these two players, Paula Fernandez and Andrea Jacinto, on Sandy Toletti and Sara Debris. So it was very difficult at times to, play easy, simple passes to them. So the ball would go on from one flank to the other in that horseshoe shape, and it was very difficult to find that progressive options very easily because they were doing such a good job with their marking and their pressing triggers that it was very difficult to beat. And it definitely looked like, I mean, rain wasn't helping us either, but it definitely looked like a game that will go down the wire. I was absolutely enjoying it, and this is what like I was also expecting a team of Arturo Ruiz to sort of play like, because we have seen this at Granada as well. Like he drills them so well, and now here he has much better technical players than he did at Granada, and he is absolutely showing that. Like before this game, they weren't that far off us. Like if they had beaten us in this game, the script could have been entirely flipped, and they would be level on points with us, right? So it could have been much worse than it is right now. So I'll take that honestly. But then the second half arrived, and like let's talk about that red card. Like it was clearly a penalty. A whole situation happened there. It was a chaotic situation. A shot from Atenea, if I'm not wrong, was it from Atenea? The shot that came off, it was blocked, and then Paula Fernandez went sliding in. She cleared the ball sort of, and the ball hit her foot and then her outstretched arm, and it was on the line. It was a clear, like it was going in. So I get both the aspects. I think it was a clear penalty because it's a handball. There is no argument about that. Me, uh, I'm sort of wondering whether you would say like the red card was maybe a little harsh because she wasn't entirely in control. It didn't seem deliberate, but I don't know. Like I feel it was a little harsh, but again, then I think there is no other way around it. Like you have to show the red card because it was going in otherwise. So yeah, I mean, not too sure. I think there isn't much debate, but I just want to get your thoughts on that. What did you think of the whole situation there?
Yeah, I think it was Holmgaard's shot that
No, it was Honda.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, listen, I saw it was a handball on the goal line, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna be a red, right? And yeah, it was a red, so it's what you're supposed to do. I don't think like, it's a harsh or something. It's pretty fair. I mean, it's the textbook red card as well. Too bad that it happened, honestly. I mean, obviously it wasn't intentional, obviously. But it's textbook, and you have to. But it's funny how we're kind of jinx for the past three opponents we faced. Like you mentioned, I didn't even notice that we faced three opponents that got red cards the last three times. So yeah, but yeah, it's too bad, honestly. I mean, we ended up scoring those three goals in the next 12 minutes after the penalty, so it all played out really fast. The game was over, 12 minutes after the red card. So yeah, it definitely changed the whole game. Too bad that it happened, but
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's fair. That is what I say. Like there is no other way around it. Like if you have stopped that goal, it has touched your hand, it is a red card. But yeah, I mean, they were making that argument that it wasn't intentional or she wasn't aware. But yeah, I mean, those are the rules now. But I think that is the point where everything changed because, like we mentioned in the first half, Paula Fernandez and Andrea Jacinto, they were basically like leading the press for Real Sociedad. They were covering and plugging the gaps, blocking the passing lanes, and doing everything they can so that the ball doesn't move that easily for us. And once one of them was gone, it became much easier for us. And obviously, there was a player advantage as well. So we were able to like now find players. We were able to find those quick exchanges now in the middle, somebody dropping in, somebody laying it off, and then we had acres of space to run into. That did not happen much in the first half. But yeah, I mean, after that, Sandy Toletti stepped up, comfortably scores the penalty. Then we go on to score three goals in the next 12 minutes, like you mentioned. We'll talk about that. But our first goal was a penalty. Our third goal was a penalty, and none of them were taken by Caroline Weir, who was on the pitch, by the way. So, what do you think is going on there? Like, is Caroline Weir now not the primary penalty kick taker at the club, or what is happening here? Because now we have seen Sandy Toletti step up and also Eva Navarro step up before Caroline Weir. So is she not even the second player to in preference order to take a penalty?
Mm, yeah, I get the Eva penalty. I get the Eva penalty. I'll get to that. I mean, Sandy Toletti is, I mean, second choice, right? Penalty taker anyway, so it wasn't that weird. But it was, it is interesting. I was wondering, like, she wasn't, Weir herself wasn't really being having like a loud game. Let's say that. I mean, she was doing her job. Obviously, it wasn't a bad game or anything. Just wasn't the kind of beer we're used to. But maybe I don't know. Like lately, she hasn't really been that confident with her penalties either. So maybe she just said, "Okay, you take this one to Toletti." And then the second penalty actually that Eva took, it came from her cross that I'm pretty sure it was Jacinto, or I don't know whose handball was
Yeah,
it
I think it
anyway.
was Jacinto.
Yeah, and it was her cross that got blocked by the handball. And actually, a few games back, Emma stepped up to take a penalty, but then VAR checked it and said, okay, that foul was outside of the box, so they gave the free kick. So the penalty was called off. But she did step up to take that penalty, and since that happened, it's been a few weeks now. But since that happened, I was waiting. When will Eva take the penalty? So we had maybe a couple of penalties before in between this, and I was like, oh no, why not let Teva take it? So yeah, she took it and she did very good job with it. So yeah, I mean, it did come from her cross and she did step up before, so I did get the Eva penalty. But yeah, I'm wondering what's happening in Weir. Like, is that her choice, like to give her teammates to try out or something? I don't know. I don't understand, but I mean, two good penalties, great penalty, and seeing that Eva can take a really good one as well. Very, very good to know, honestly, to see good penalty takers. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's we we scored on both the penalties, so it's not really an issue here. But it's just the because Caroline Weir was also coming on the back of two games in the international break, where in one game she had a hat trick, and in the
Yeah.
other game she had a hat trick of assists. And in this game, she could have had a goal and an assist because the second goal was assisted by her. And we'll talk about that corner as well. But it's just that I think it was just a one-off case, but we will have to observe it, because Callan Weir has had some misses in the penalties as well. So has the hierarchy changed? Okay, maybe Eva Navarro's was her cross getting blocked, so she went on and took it. But then according to that, then Sara Holmgaard should have taken the first one. But yeah, I mean, it's something to keep an eye on about what is happening. And speaking of Sara Holmgaard, she got her goal and she was fantastic in this game. Again, supporting possession, going forwards, combining, providing those supporting runs. It was it was a very good performance from her, and I'm glad that she got the goal. She was entering the box at the far post, attacking it, being an option, taking those shots as well that she's very good at with her left foot. And that goal as well, I want to talk about the corner routine. Like, I really liked it. We like what we usually do in these sort of corners is we we have all of our players at the edge of the 6 yard box, and we then, when the kick is taken, they all disperse and attack different areas of the goal. So in that situation, it becomes very difficult to track every single runner. And I think Real Sociedad did a very poor job of marking everyone in that. And Sara Holmgaard had a free header right in front of goal. So like that wasn't really very good defending from them. But honestly, like with Real Sociedad zonal marking in that 6 yard, they had one player at the near post. They had one, Andre Jacinto herself was standing somewhere defending that near post zone as well. And then somebody at far post. And then we had this 5 runners who are ready to attack all parts of the goal. So one would run at the near post, one would make a run just behind, and then the other 3 followed that. And it is very difficult in these situations to like, if you assign a player to player marking as well, for them to be aware, track back, and sort of keep them in check before the header comes in, is very difficult. And I quite like that approach. And we do have some good players with headed ability. Maria Mendes can take a header. Lakrar can take a header. Sara Holmgaard has shown that she can take a header. We aren't the tallest of teams. If you add Brun into the mix, Brun is very good in taking those headers as well. So we have a couple of players who can be the target of those set pieces, and I'm glad that we are finding ways to try to get a slight edge over that with some strategies, with some routines that disrupt the opposition defense. So I quite like that corner routine that we had there. What were your thoughts on that goal from Sara Holmgaard and the corner setup from Pau Quesada?
Yeah, I mean, you described it really well, and it was really fun to see, the other way around, when it's not our zonal marking and in defending set pieces. So yeah, it's a very good thing to watch the other way around, really. But the way that Sara ran into for that header was so like textbook for a striker. It's so fun. And it's so interesting to see that. It's so clean, just she just whooshed past, like absolutely no obstacles in her way. And yeah, she just got it, and I'm so glad, we were talking about, yeah, maybe she should have taken the first penalty because should have been her goal. Well, she had her goal, she got her goal finally, that's a good thing. But yeah, it's yeah, I really like when we score from set pieces. We score a lot from set pieces, only if we knew how to defend them.
And it's nice, as you say, to not be on the receiving end of these for once. So I'm quite happy with that as well. And the fact that it was Sara scoring a goal, like it is nice because we have been alternating in that left back spot for a while now throughout the season, and I think she might play the next game, and then she probably won't be featured in the next three, won't be starting at least in the next three because we have Barcelona. So maybe Yasmin comes in there. So it's good to have her in good touch right up to that, because if something happens or if we need extra cover, I think Sara Holmgaard can step in and add that dual threat when defending and also when attacking. So I'm pretty happy with it. Now, there are again a couple of things that I would like to. We could have scored the fourth one as well. Atenea was through one goal, hit it straight at the goalkeeper towards the end. But I think in all of those chances, there were a couple of them as well where Caroline Weir was really coming into it as the game went on. There was this one transition opportunity where she receives and then she just slightly checks her shoulder and she sees Linda Caicedo making the run, and she plays a very beautiful ball for Linda to run onto. But that shot is blocked, and I think that is where the second goal comes from. That is the corner from which the second goal comes from, because that could have been an assist on its own. But then again, Caroline Weir picking up the ball in the midfield in our own half and then playing the ball over the top for Atenea in that final chance as well, which she hit straight to the goalkeeper. So, there, I think Alan Weir being in good touch ahead of this difficult run is very, very important. And she is now gathering that pace where, international break as well, very productive. This game, I would say that even though she did not start well, I think she ended the game very well in the second half. She was very involved. She was creating these opportunities. And I think it's very good for us moving forwards, especially with those three Barcelona games coming up. What do you think of Caroline Weir's performance in this game? I know you said she wasn't having a grand game, but what were your overall thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely maybe it was some sort of confidence that she got even later on. I mean that action you mentioned just before the corner that where we scored a second goal from. And yeah, it was good to see. Maybe she was also, like, okay, we were already scored. Maybe, got that energy in her or something. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it was before this. It was a pretty standard game from her. I don't know. For Caroline Weir, you can rarely say she has a bad game, and this was even before this. Whatever, like confidence spark, whatever you want to call it. Standard Weir game, honestly. So yeah, I mean, it's a good thing to see her in a stable form. At least before this big run for free Clásicos and Eibar as well. We need her for the Eibar game. That's a very important game, you guys. And yeah, I mean, we always need Weir and Caicedo are the two players that we can, just um rely on when everything goes to hell, when everything else is bad. Just those two. We have those two, and it's enough for the time being. So yeah, good to see that going on still.
Yeah, hopefully those two can brew up some magic in these
Mm.
upcoming games, and we get something to celebrate after that week from hell ends and this March Madness ends. Uh, but also, like, last thing before we wrap it up, can we just stop with these poor challenges from Pau Quesada? Like, do you remember that in the start at the start of the second half we scored a goal, and it was called offside, and she was clearly offside. Why would you challenge that? He is very, like, convinced that, the ball is ahead. She's clearly, Redondo was clearly a mile ahead of the ball. It was very evident, and he challenged that. It was very, like, can we just stop wasting challenges for nothing, please?
No, it's just like oh my God. I remember like he was so adamant in these challenges since the start of the season, and every game I was like, okay, when are we getting our first challenge? What minute and all that. So it kind of became a game for me at this point. But yeah, I mean, I think in the whole season we got like two. I remember two. I think there were three successful ones. So the first one was that El Clasico, the first one we had. I remember that, and yeah. But the majority of them were so funny. Honestly, I still remember one early on in the season. He challenged for a red card, a very random foul in the middle of the pitch. It was on
I
Linda,
think it
and I
was
was like.
Shayla's red card, I think. Or maybe not.
No. It was for the other team to get the
Oh,
red
yeah, it
card.
was for the other team. Right, right, right.
Yeah, yeah, that was. It wasn't such a random. I didn't even understand what they were looking at. So yeah, he had some ridiculous challenges, and yeah, I mean, at least it's entertaining. I can't complain.
There have been some very, very terrible challenges, and it's very funny to watch. And my problem is they take up so much of the time from the game. Like, there is such a big stoppage for nothing. It's a clear offside. It's not even debatable there. But yeah, I mean, I guess he's just looking to gain those margins. Maybe sometimes it's off, but it's very hilarious every time a challenge. And it's like, it's not going to be go in our favor like 80% of the time. So it's funny. But yeah, that is it for this game. Next up, as we have mentioned multiple times, we have Eibar, and I think we might see some rotation in that game as well, because immediately after we have got Barcelona in the Champions League, then we have got Barcelona in the league, and then we have got Barcelona again in the Champions League. So I think this Eibar game can turn out to be a banana peel once again for us, because we might be looking to rest some of our key players ahead of a very intense 3 games. So, pray your Hail Marys, or say whatever, like, pray to whatever gods you pray to. We need one win in those 3 games, and I think that will be great to start with. So yeah, let's see what happens. Eibar game is going to be a real test again if we rotate, and then we have got a nightmare run. So yeah, hopefully when this March Madness ends, we have something to celebrate. Let's fingers crossed. Let's hope that happens. And yeah, I think that is it for this one. Kanita, do you have anything to add, or we can wrap it up?
Nope. Just prepare for the hell of a game that will be against Eibar.
It's time, guys. It's time, once again, time to repeat what we did last March. Let's beat them in the league. Let's reduce that gap. Let's do it, or better, beat them in the Champions League and progress forward. That will be fun. But yeah, either way, whatever happens in these next games, we will be here to break those games down for you. And until next time, Ala Madrid.
A Madrid.